What effect would capsicum have on triglycerides and cholesterol, for example?
Well, the studies that have been done, first of all, in animals. And what they tend to do in these studies is they feed these animals either with a standard rat chow, typically rats are the model that are used,
Okay.
or they feed them with a very high saturated fat, high cholesterol type of diet. And in those studies, they find that animals that are treated with capsaicinoids when they're consuming this high fat, high cholesterol diet, these animals tend to have lower overall triglycerides in response to an acute feeding, number one. They seem to have higher antioxidant activity, which we know could be beneficial. In fact, some
Right.
authors have suggested that this would decrease the atherosclerotic risk profile, of these animals when they're fed high-fat, high-cholesterol diets. And it tends to